what I'll do is I'll probably move it over there a little bit, so I'm out of. We're live now, so again.
Do you want me to start rounding people up?
Are you rounding people up? The rounding up is being done as we speak. Yeah, there's a guy called Andy Roberts. He lives in Birmingham.
A few people said that what will be circulating email addresses will be delegates, or should be asked if it's okay if we do.
We've been asked that you're closing 5 minutes. Might be 10 minutes. All right. Yes.
5 parts, we should be starting again.
What time was it supposed to be? 1, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't mind it being a little bit late because I don't really want to talk for an hour. So
you'll probably say 15 minutes of your thing.
Yeah.
Let them drift in for 5 minutes or so.
It's not about being the one in front. It's like this year, 2016, is about being not going to work because actually it's not about this. That's what 2016 is about. Yeah, exactly. That's what I expect. Yeah. That's why you gotta do it. The thing is, yesterday. said, didn't you? I had to improvise.
Yeah, but after that,
Yeah, but I worked. Yeah, thank you. Yesterday, who's got that? Oh, yeah. What's the thing to go
Something is missing. Somebody told me you had that banner in the airport in January. Where is that?
It's coming.
Why you do want to do that?
Oh, yeah.
What is it in your people? Where is
I've up to that the
he's quite a serious coke, isn't it? What's it made of?
No, but we'll have to offer it. At a price.
Anybody who wants to subscribe, I found the instructions, but the questions which are very technical, and I looked at the first question and I thought, I don't know the answer. So Nikki and I have to sit down on that.
Okay.
No, but this is the credit card thing. How do you access your website? And the first thing was C panel, you took me reference use control panel. And then there are 3 other options. And I don't know what I mean. Okay. First question. Yeah, so I need to sort that out. Now I did request the password, obviously you send me the hint of it, so I'll have to reset it. But I use the same password that you got for the paper. Okay. And now I remember that I have to send me the 2 accounts. First got all the letter of the world, and then send me the use over like gmail.com. So now I've got the instructions. And you just talk to me about the details and I'll send it to you.
And email address.
If you can give me a card or something, I'll talk to me after this. How do you get the weekend? That's what it is.
I'm not really hungry.
No, you're tired.
No, you just, they don't really want to eat. I don't know. We can use
Will you take their seats again, please, for the afternoon session? Don't worry, trustees, we're busy, that's fine.
Yeah, let's hear you. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite good. I'm short enough that they can see behind me. That's good. And left and right.
What have you got? Okay, well. You can use it.
And if I can't, then I'll wiggle it.
Right, we're almost. We have an eager speaker waiting to start the afternoon session. Very eager. You don't want to miss this.
Right, is everybody fed, watered and fully refreshed? You know what? A dog.
Goal! I need a goal.
Right, the afternoon session that commences. Has everybody heard of BITC? Does anybody know what BITC stands for? Excellent, a few people do. The Dean Standish, who represents this august organisation, is about to talk to us now for the next 15-20 minutes. We promise you, and I don't want to put her under any pressure at all, but we promise you you're going to enjoy this, because she's going to make it fun. Okay, is that a deal?
Yeah, that's
right. So this is the light-hearted bits, and it's all over to the do. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Nadine Standish and I work for Business in the Community. And as promised, we're going to try and kick off with some fun, if I can get this to work. There we go. Right. Has everybody heard of rock, paper, scissors? Anyone not? Has anyone not heard of the game? Put your hand up. Cool. So we're all aware of the rules of rock, paper, scissors, yeah? Okay. So we're going to play rock, paper, scissors, but in actual fact, we're going to call it ogres, dragons, and wizards, okay? So in a minute, not yet, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up, and we're going to form two teams. So down the middle, this will be team 1, and this will be team 2, okay? As a team, you need to quietly decide which of these you're going to be. I will say 3, 2, 1, go, and you go after go, not on go, and you will make the noise that represents one of these items, okay? So I'm going to do the easiest one first, which is the wizard. So if you become the wizard, you all step forward and go whoosh. Okay? Everybody understand that? So the wizard is whoosh. Okay? If you as a team decide you want to be dragons, it's rah. Okay? Everybody got that? Let's everybody have a little practice of that one. Rah. Okay. Now this is my personal favourite. I saved it to the last because it's the most embarrassing. So this is the ogre. Okay, so if you're ogres, it's ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, everybody got that? Yeah? Okay, let's all stand up and have a little practice before we go. Okay? Right, so I want everybody to just do the wizard after go. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, now the dragon. 3, 2, 1, go. And the ogre, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, perfect. We all seem to have got it sorted. So just in terms of what beats what, you can see up here that the wizard beats the ogre beats the dragon, and the dragon beats the wizard, okay? So I'll just give you 10 seconds now as a group to just quickly decide what you're going to be. When you decide, you're going to turn in and face the other team, and I'll give you the 3, 2, 1 countdown. and it's best of 3. I've never done this before. I've seen someone else do it and it worked brilliantly. So I thought. Right, have we all got? Yeah, team 2's ready. Team 1, are we ready? Okay, right. Everybody facing to the other team then. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So that's a draw. So we've still got to go 3 more times. All right, another. Decide again what you're going to be. Team 2 ready? Yeah. Team 1 ready? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, Ogre beats Dragon, so we've got 1 point on this side. Oh yeah, 1 point for the Ogres, 1 point for the Ogres. Right, it's best of 3. Best of 3, so decide again who we're going to be. So we've got 1 point over here. Ready? Ready over there? Yeah. Ready over here? Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Right. 1 each. 2. I'm good at organising the game. I'm not very good at the scoring. Right, so we've got 2 over here. So we've got a winner. Take a seat. I'll practice the scoring for next time. So that was the fun bit. From now on, it's all serious stuff, okay? So I've got some quick fire questions that I want you to have a look at and just think of the answers. You have got a little notes bit on the back of your agenda if anybody's got a pen and wants to have a scribble down on the notes bit, or you can just think about it in your head. There's no prizes, so if you just want to sit there and listen to everybody else gossip, that's fine. So the first question is, according to JRF, how many people in poverty are in working households? I don't know. Perfect. I stole this from someone else. So that's people below the official poverty line. So we've got how many people in poverty are in working households and how many people in poverty are in non-working households. And the total number of people in poverty is 11.2 million. So of that 11.2 million, how many of those are in out-of-work households and how many are in in-work households? Is that clear? Yeah? Okay, so the next question is, where did the UK rank against 29 other countries in the European Child Wellbeing League? So from numbers 1 to 29, where did we rank for child wellbeing? Okay. That one clear? Brilliant. In 2012 to 2013, there were 346,992 beneficiaries of food banks in the UK. How many were there in the following year, 2013 to 2014? Okay, question 4. In December 2014, what was the average vacancy rate of the top 650 high streets in the UK? So how many properties were unoccupied? That one clear? And that's a percentage, just that one, by the way, the answer for that one. So what percentage was the vacancy rate? And then the final question, so 0.5% of the population came through the care system, but what proportion of people in prison came through the care system? Roughly, again, percentage. Everyone had a go at some of those questions? All right, who wants to be brave enough to have a go at the answers? The first one. Anyone got a view on how many people in poverty are in working households out of the 11.2 million? 8, 7, 4.5, higher. So we think there's maybe 8 in working households, so that would leave just around 3 in non-working households. Okay. Anyone got any other ideas? Okay. So the answer to that one is 6.1 million are in working households, which means 5.1 million are in non-working households. So we've got more people working below the poverty line than people who are not working. Okay. So the next one then, where did we come in the European Child Wellbeing League? Any guesses? 27? 15? 23? 12? 24. So the only people worse than us are Lithuania, Latvia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Malta. Okay. So the next question then, how many beneficiaries of food banks do we think there were in 2013, 2014? 450,000? 1.5 million? 2 million? A million? Okay, lots of different numbers there. So it was nearly a million. It was 913,138. So that means not quite tripled, but about 2.5 times in 1 year the number of people using food banks. Okay. The average vacancy rate for the high streets then, top 650 high streets, what percentage do we think of properties are vacant? 60, 70? When we walk down the high street, we see 60% of empty buildings. 20%, 15? 13.2%. Okay, but some of the worst, so Blackburn is one of the worst with 26.9% of its properties unoccupied. One of the best is Cambridge, which is only 7%. And finally, so 0.5% of the population came through the care system, but what proportion of people in prison have been through the care system? 9? 60? 20? 80? Okay. It's 27%, okay? But interestingly, for female young offenders institutes, that goes up to 44%, okay? So that is a huge proportion of our prison population have come through that care system when only 0.5% of the population have been through. And why am I telling you all this? What do you guys think of some of those statistics? Shocking? What you expected? Yeah? Just the way it is? Yeah? Yeah, can we do another game? Yeah, cool. So the reason that I wanted to share this with you is I was taken through this quiz in my induction, which is why I didn't know what year it was, to my induction into a new job, which was business connectors. And as this lovely lady said here, we need to change this. And actually, we all have the power to change this, and we all have a responsibility, and not just as individuals. So I am part of the Business Connector programme, which is a national programme. Okay. The way that it is funded is part through National Lottery, so the big lottery grant for admin support for the programme, but we also have a number of businesses that sign up to give support. So I actually work for Lloyds Banking Group, that's my day job. They have given me a year off to come and work out in the community for business in the community as a charity, which is absolutely amazing. So they're still paying my salary, they're funding my place in the community. They support me with resources, with other people in the office, help with things like the marketing department. And it's not just Lloyds Banking Group that do this, so quite a lot of the other banks do it. So Barclays certainly signed up to it. Things like Asda, Sainsbury's, the civil service are now one of the biggest contributors. So lots of people from the Ministry of Defence, from the Department for Work and Pensions. And what that means for businesses is that actually they get to be seen to be more visible in the community, but also that they learn more about what's going on at grassroots level. So certainly for the Department for Work and Pensions guys, seeing some of these food bank statistics was really shocking for them. And they've gone back and challenged, actually with their head office, why does the system work like this? What are we doing about it as a department? So fantastic opportunity. And what we actually do on the ground is work within communities, very similar to Link4Growth, is we try and link people together. So the whole idea being that everything that people need, there's somebody out there that wants to give it. But having the time and the expertise to bring those people together is quite a challenge. So my role is to find charities, schools, prisons, community groups, small businesses, whatever it might be, who need something. And that could be some marketing expertise, some financial advice, actually just a little bit of advertising, help with a website, whatever it might be. And then try and find a business that's prepared to use their skills and expertise to meet that need. So rather than businesses going, here's 500 quid, but we never want to see you again, actually getting businesses much more involved in understanding their responsibility in the community. So not just grassroots up, but big corporates down, so that they can really feel like they own a part of the community and they're responsible for fixing some of the social issues that we see. So for resolving some of those statistics that we saw. So really fantastic programme. It's been running for about 3 years. It's part of a wider charity called Business in the Community, which I am sort of a subset of because I'm seconded. And Business in the Community does a lot of wider things. So they work on environmental issues. They help big corporates to become more responsible. But our programme is very localised. So I work only in the Watford area. And I recognise some faces here of people that I've met. But we do have business connectors across a number of different locations in the UK. And their full-time job is to help people like you, to develop your organisations, to help you grow, and also to help you get more involved in the community if that's something that you're interested in. So like I say, it's not just helping charities, because if you can help a small business to grow and employ one person, that's one person that might come off job seekers allowance, for example. So any growth in a community is seen to be kind of positive growth for that community. So that's what it is. Okay, so what does it mean in practice? So I just wanted to bring it to life a little bit more in terms of some of the issues in Watford. So one of the big issues that we see in Watford, and it's different for all areas, is around the skills gap. So we've got a huge amount of growth in terms of business parks development. They're developing the train station, new lines, and that's creating loads of jobs, particularly in the construction industry and also in the retail and hospitality sectors. But are we talking enough to our kind of 10 to 16-year-olds about the kind of jobs that they're going to get when they leave school? Are we making sure that they're getting the right experience? Are we bringing businesses into the colleges and the schools to make sure that the courses are right, that those kids have got the right employability skills, and creating a real talent pipeline for Watford, so that we're not going, well, let's just get somebody from Northampton that's going to drive for an hour. Let's get somebody to commute up from central London. That actually we're giving local people the opportunity for those jobs, so that they don't just get the downsides of the growth, and there are some, because rents are going up, the price of property is going up, small businesses, small charities are getting kicked out of their buildings so that they can be redeveloped for the big corporates. So they need to get the benefits as well as some of those downsides in order to feel proud of their community. So that's what we're trying to do in Watford. And there's a number of ways that we can do that. So there's quite a lot of strategic partnerships that I'm involved in. One of them is called Skill Makers, which has just commissioned a big piece of research about the jobs that are going to be coming up in the next few years versus the qualifications that kids are leaving school with, to make sure that we then put into plan a piece of activity around educating those kids better, bringing businesses closer to that, and making sure that we are doing that talent pipeline locally. But also what we're doing, so if you look at employment, talking to businesses about, do they have apprentices, do they have trainees, what are they doing to develop the people that they've already got, what are they doing in the community, how are they helping employability courses. So in Watford, there's probably 10 or more organisations that run employability courses, not just for long-term unemployed, but for people in schools still in training. And a lot of them don't have businesses involved in them. So the one at the job centre, they run CV courses. They're run by people in the job centre that may only have ever worked in the job centre. How can we honestly be saying to the children that they're getting the best experience if we're not getting businesses to come in and say what they want? So it's about getting businesses much more involved in that side of things. In terms of enterprise, so supporting growth for social enterprise, for small businesses, for charities, and that might be linking people up that we think can mutually benefit each other. So, if you've got a photographer that's just starting out on their own and they want to build, a bit of a portfolio, and you've got a charity that wants some photos taken but they've got no budget, those two people can go together and agree that they can just work together for a few hours and they both get a benefit out of that. So bringing people together right at that low level for enterprise. So the idea is to help people grow. And we can all help each other to do that. But my full-time job is to find out what you need, what people want to give, and then match make. So that's a nice one. Increased opportunities for people in enterprise. So linking people into the council and some of these strategic partnerships. In particular, I don't know if anybody's come across BIDS before, but there's one in Watford, which is a business improvement district. It's a certain area, if anybody's not come across it. So the council will propose an area within a geographical space. All the businesses will contribute to a pot if they vote that they want to do it. And then the businesses will get to decide how that pot of money is spent. So that's quite an exciting proposition if it's done properly. And there's quite a lot of charities in the town centre of Watford who are going to be represented by the biggest charity in Watford. Now, is that necessarily how to represent the small charities? How are we making sure that there's the right representation at that strategic level? And that's one of my roles as well, is to challenge, at that top level of organisation within the local communities to say, how are you really representing the people? How is having the biggest charity on your board going to represent those people that can't even afford to employ someone for their charity, but it's people doing it out of goodwill? So all of that stuff forms part of my role. And then education. So, it might be things like getting businesses to mentor schools. It could be specifically mentoring very talented kids at schools. It could be mentoring teachers who, again, have very limited business experience, sometimes no business experience, but are teaching a business and economics A-level course, and they're teaching kids about what the big wide world looks like when actually they've been to university and then they've gone into an education establishment. So how can we, as businesses, help teachers with that, because we can't expect teachers to know everything. You know, nobody knows everything, but what we need to do is share our skills to make sure that everybody's getting the best opportunities. And improved course offering. So, you know, going into schools and actually working to improve the courses that they do, going into colleges and saying, actually, you know, your IT course isn't particularly relevant to the world of work today. Can we actually make sure we give kids the skills so that when they turn on a computer, they know the things that we want in a business environment? And, you know, that education piece is wider, so also working with prisons. So if anybody's interested, I'm working with Bovingdon Prison. They are looking at trying to get more businesses in. So they're actually a training prison. They're one of the top 4 in the country. And they want to get more businesses in to talk to their inmates about opportunities once they leave prison. You know, get them motivated, get them to start learning the right skills now. You know, and that's something that I'm just working to try and set up, because I'm really passionate, having seen some of those statistics about people in the care system. Some of you will have heard that if you're in a prison and you come out with employment, you're 50% less likely to reoffend. You know, so actually the social benefit of getting involved and helping some of those people is fantastic. You know, we will alleviate pressure on some of our other systems, as well as feeling good, sharing resources and building that community that we all want to feel. So that's kind of how it forms in real life. And sorry, I know it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I've just put some numbers up there. To be honest, you know, the organisation will talk about all the money leveraged and stuff, but that doesn't bother me. What I really wanted to show you was we've got 44 organisations, big ones. We're in 97 locations, so that's Watford, but a lot of others. And we've got 184 business connectors. Some of those are now people who've returned back to their business. But the point I want to get across is there are people out there that can help you in your business, in your charity, in your personal life. But there's also people that need your help. So if you're somebody who's interested in doing more in the community, as I'm sure you are, because you're here, we've all got skills to share, and that business connector will be able to sit with you and talk to you about the kind of opportunities there are in your community, and it'll be things that you never even knew about. We do try and come along to the Link4Growth sessions, so I do try and come along to them. But if you want to contact me directly, my email address is on the back of the card, and you know, please get in touch, because I'm sure that, you know, we can help each other. And then finally, I've got 30 seconds left for any questions if anyone's got anything burning. Otherwise, I'm obviously going to be around in the break and afterwards. Yeah.
What inspired you to take this on?
So I've worked for Lloyds Bank since I left university, so going on 6.5 years now. I've always been somebody that quite likes getting involved in community, so I was heavily involved in university and a lot of voluntary stuff and student politics, helping people. And I got to a point where I was kind of ready to leave Lloyds Banking Group. I'm out of time. I was kind of ready to leave because I wanted to discover more than the corporate culture. And then they offered me the opportunity to go into the community, and it is just the best thing I've ever done. And seeing people that do good stuff every day has made me want to do more. So that's a challenging conversation for me when my comment comes to an end, as it is for everyone in this role. But yeah, you know, meeting people like you guys is what inspires me really, because the people, everybody I meet is doing fantastic things, and I just want to help them to do more of that if I can. Cool.
Thank you, Nadine. I have no idea how you managed to get the same in a group that large. Well done, you. I mentioned that at my opening that we had a colourful session, a colourful part of the day, and this is where the colour comes in, because Chris is now going to introduce very colourful, very bright, very impressive underwear. Visuals. I'm sorry, I don't know where underwear came from. Visuals. I won't say any more because I don't know what these visuals are. I don't know what some of them are, but they are impressive. So, Chris, impress us with your underwear.
Before I do that, I just want to say that cooperation and collaboration with organisations like the BOTC is fundamental to what Link4Growth is about. And there are other organisations as well, like Leaders Link, who are responsible for getting people who have been serving in the armed forces back into society. That's a great organisation out there, and Link4Growth is working with them. Also with Enterprise Rockers, who are a nationwide organisation aimed at micro businesses. You know, we form links with them. And even companies like Regis, who offer us free office space and coffee to run our events in. as part of their corporate social responsibility. So there are some really good companies out there, and actually forming these partnerships is one way that we can increase the participation very, very quickly. So that's a few other organisations that we're working with. Okay, so I'm now going to talk about Laminates. Now, these came about, and they came about towards the back end of last year, and I've kind of formulated an idea that Link4Growth is quite a complex animal. And I suspect many of you here who've heard of Link4Growth, been to events, will probably won't have understood the depth at which Link4Growth has been created and the different things that are available within it. So we need a better way of communicating that message. And we haven't really got anything which is visual. And so towards sort of October time, I was searching for a person who could help and work with me in creating a set of laminates. And at the same time, coincidentally, there was a person who woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning and said, I must phone Chris.
Keys this not very great. Didn't have too much information.
Yeah, and talk to him about graphic design. So anyway, the next day I think it was, we actually connected. She dropped me an email and said I'd really like to work with you on some of the things that you're doing, and it's great. And that person is here today. It's Sophie at the back. I'd like to just wave your hand, Sophie. Now, Sophie, I kid you not, has spent hundreds of hours with me because I'm a bit of a pain. And she's incredibly good. And we work together on this, phone calls, emails, messaging to create these. And what we've created is essentially a story really about Link4Growth, because when people come to Link4Growth events, it's very difficult for them to comprehend the whole scope of it. And so the first laminate was about what is Link4Growth, and actually that's one that I worked on with Nikki Pepper. You over there. The next one was about what underpins Link4Growth, so that's about the ethics and values. And I talked earlier about the 7 principles and values of Link4Growth, which are incredibly important, and I will quickly run through those when I've got the laminate out. The journey of Link4Growth, which I've turned into 2 banners, which I will reveal very shortly. How you can join in and participate in Link4Growth, so that's time tithing, and that kind of introduced the concept of everyone doing a little bit each. And quite interestingly, if all of us contributed 4 hours a week, which is 10% of our time, if we had 8 million people involved, that'd be 1.5 billion hours a year going to a common direction. What could we achieve with 1.5 billion hours? And then we're going to go, I've got a CKI sort of explained in a way that kind of makes sense to people, and then how we can share what we're doing in the community so we get more participation. So I'm not going to, it wasn't like a painting course I went on or anything, but I've got this easel here because I have had some laminates made up into something a little bit bigger, which I can share with you. So, that is the first one. All right, so see if I can get that balance in there. Yeah, there is a bit missing. Well spotted, the lady who created it. So this is an old version. There is another thing down in the corner there, which is the CKI program. But basically what we've got here along the top is taking responsibility, focus on people and relationships, not for profit and totally inclusive, which is exactly what Link4Growth is all about. And then underneath that, you've got the 4 main sections of Link4Growth, which is the community building, the Link4Skills, Link4Business, and the TV platform. And underneath that, you've got various other bits and pieces like what we're teaching people how to use social media, the communications platform, which is actually the district website that's going to enable us to spread the good messages that are happening in the community out there. And then we've got the online mentoring groups that Jeremy talked about earlier. And of course, we've got Watch Your Story, and Deb's over there is going to be rolling that out. So having this at an event is going to help us to actually explain a lot more about what Link4Growth is and what they look like in terms of what's going to be given out in due course. Here's these. So this is what, you're not going to have to carry these to the meeting. We're going to have these nice little handy ones. So these will be at the meetings, all the meetings, and they make a really good, interesting talk piece, because we had one of these, a set of these, at the meeting on Wednesday, which G was at, and actually they went down really, really well. People, looking at it visually, it makes a lot more sense. Right, so that's laminate number 1. Laminate number 2. Okay, so this is about the 7 principles of Link4Growth, and it's incredibly important that people understand what underpins Link4Growth. When you're going to get involved with something, it's really important that you understand the ethics and values of the organisation. You know, if I was going to sell Link4Growth to Virgin or to another huge organisation, I would have created the largest injustice on the planet, in my opinion. So it's important that the people who get involved understand where this is headed. And some of these statements here, and I'll read them out because every single one, none of us are that great. Maybe in the past, Jesus or someone may have got somewhere close, but these these are, we are not going to be able to uphold these 100%. But they're things like, and it's understanding what the import of the statement is. Everyone is important. So the flip side of that is some people are more important than others. Doesn't sound right, does it? So everyone is important is really good. Everyone should be respected. And again, the flip side of that is some people should be respected more than others. You know, why is that? We're all human, we're all part of the same species. Everyone should be heard because we've all got to have a voice. Otherwise, that's unfair. Some people are going to be basically subject to other people's views. Everybody should be able to contribute. So creating a platform which enables every single person to participate is vital. Everyone is equal. This is a tough one. This is a tough one for lots of people because they don't think that. And actually, everyone has a part to play in society. Every single person. It might be to teach you a lesson, but they all have a purpose. Everyone has value. Even the person that sits on the couch all day watching TV and is larger than they should be is teaching us a valuable lesson. And everyone is on their own journey, which is so vital to understand that if someone doesn't agree with you or doesn't agree with some concepts you're talking about, it's okay, because they're not quite ready for it yet. So this is a really important one, and one that I think underpins what we're trying to do with Link4Growth very succinctly. So that's it. Right. You might have seen something on the cake that looks a bit like this. I thought that my banner had been stolen. I wrapped around the cake, but there is another one in that corner that could be. Now, this for me is really a fantastic banner because it basically takes everything from people first hearing about Link4Growth at the bottom, all the way through the journey of trying and understanding and comprehending what Link4Growth is all about. So you've got, developing relationships, sharing ideas, growing the business, getting involved in certain things that Link4Growth does, stepping up to do something. Someone said it's snakes and ladders, but yeah, that's a decent concept, but not what we're doing here. Time tithing, where people can volunteer to participate in things in a small amount of time, might even only be an hour. There's a lady who unfortunately can't be here today, called Jane Chapman, who is putting our Facebook event, our events up on Facebook where I am, and yeah, she's in front of a computer for quite a lot of the time. It takes probably half an hour a week. But it's half an hour a week I don't have to spend doing that job. So it's anybody can participate and do anything. Yeah, we make a difference, and then ultimately, we if we want to, we can part our leadership team, which is, you know, about everybody pulling together, everybody helping everybody else. So this is an interesting banner we'll be having at events, which gives people, they can stand in front of this banner and say, well, whereabouts am I? You know, it's an interesting discussion topic. So that's going to be really good at events. So that's that one. So this is about time tithing. So as people start to develop an understanding of Link4Growth and understanding how they can participate in the community, then we have this banner. So these represent different ways people can participate, and online as well. And down the bottom here, you know, we've got kind of what the ethos of time tithing is all about, matching people with community needs, which is exactly what Nadine was just saying earlier. This is about trying to bring people together and understand what people's requirements are, and we can find people in the community that can help fulfill those. So yeah, really interesting again, and yeah, providing a platform that makes it easy for everyone to contribute to society in some shape or form. And these are, yeah, that's not readily available at the moment, but suddenly we've got this opportunity where everybody can play a part, however small that might be. Okay, so this is the Community Kickstarter initiative, and the explanation that I would give is, you remember the 9 components of community. Okay, so they are represented down here as the 9. Yeah, everybody fits into that part. So this is about community. And what you've got over here is authority, the councils and the public purse. And generally, those people and these big businesses generally run the towns at the moment. And this is not just where I've discovered it in Oxford. I've discovered it happens elsewhere too, by the way. So what this is about giving the people in the community a platform and an ability to participate in what's going on locally. Once they start to do that, they feel they're empowered to do something, and they start to believe they can make a difference and they can make a change. If you couple that with Link4Business, which is what this is representing, which is 6.7 million businesses with 5 or less employees in this country, and 5.5 million of those are single sole traders. So they're already in the community. So if we can get these people working together, these people working to create a much better community, because if you've got a successful local economy, you've got a successful community too. So if we can get these two groups of people working much more closely together, one of the objectives of Link4Business, then what we can do is we can start to give this group of people much more devolved responsibility over the town. And these people, the councillors, they're really there to serve us. I know it's hard to believe sometimes, but they are there to serve us. And these big businesses very often pay lip service to corporate social responsibility. They provide just enough to tick the box. And actually what we need is a lot more than that. We need them to start really paying attention to how they can help and contribute to society. So one of my favourites, this one. And finally, if we're doing all of this good work, how do we let people know? If all these good people out there are doing great work, how do we communicate all of this stuff that's going on to a wider audience? How do we do that? And that's what the local community hub website is all about. We've moved them up until our district websites. So on here, we've got participation by all the 9 segments of community once again. And this is about people. Community is about people doing things. It's about people setting up events. It's about doing stuff. It's about people going out there and mixing with other people that are local to them and doing things, doing stuff. So all the events that they can get, other activities. We have an amazing opportunity to go along. And I often go along to things in Watford, take pictures, videos, stick them up onto the district website. Why? Because if more people know about it, more people might want to get involved in it. And it's not rocket science. It's really, really simple. So, you know, we've got a filing cabinet effectively with Google Documents where we can put documents in and publicly display them. We've got the local TV shows that we do, and yeah, where people can actually go out to the community. I mean, this is a picture here. It's pretty difficult for you to see probably, but it's a picture of me out with my Note 4 and an external mic and going around the streets interviewing people. They think I'm a bit crazy sometimes, but anyway, it gets people out there who are doing things, actually some visibility, which is fantastic. And you know, and we can all participate. We can all share what we're doing. So I think this is the final thing. This is when we've gone out there and we've harvested all this information, as I mentioned earlier, with the Community Kickstarter initiative. We're now in a position to display that information and make it available. This is free. It's available to everybody, and every single person can participate and post stuff on it and make a contribution. So this is kind of the ultimate thing. So that's basically the laminates. Now, one other thing that we've got, which I haven't mentioned yet, which again Sophie has been responsible for helping us put together, and there are loads of these, so you can take them away with you today, is the brand new Link4Growth leaflet, which is far more colourful than it ever was before, and all the different parts of Link4Growth are on the back, and basically how you can find out more information about those. So they're available as of from today. So that's it basically. I hope you liked those laminates as much as I do. And that's me done. So back to you, Paul.
Okay, what did you think of Chris's underwear? We are in 2016. So let's concentrate on 2016. And Tanya Clark is going to tell us all about her view and focus on 2016. Tanya, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's lovely to be here today. Of course. Are we having a great day? Yes. Actually, yeah, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. So technology, point.
You have to wade through my slides actually
because you had slides. I'm going backwards. Other way.
I just didn't know I was going to get the laminates.
You see?
There you go.
Fabulous. Okay. Yeah, that's me. It says focus on 2016. Actually, it's always my focus. And it's in here. This presentation is full of questions. You might like at some point to note some of them down to think about later. You might like, and I'll give you an opportunity as we go through to think about them as we go along. Give you a few moments. Link4Growth is about people, relationships, taking responsibility for everything in our lives. Mostly our thoughts and being happy. If we focus on this, then for sure the other things that we're working on will be a byproduct of our actions. Anyone guess who said that? I don't know. I'm going to talk about my nan, Frida May Herbert. She died on the 3rd of January last year, just over a year ago, aged 97. She lived in a loveless marriage to a gay man when being gay was illegal. One of my nan's earliest recollections, one of my mum's, earliest recollections is of opening the door to the police who then arrested him and took him away. Much of Nan's life was lived in bitterness, regret, pain and hate, fear. Yet when I remembered her last year, when I remember her now, I remember courage. I remember community spirit. I remember determination and making fairy cakes on a Saturday afternoon. The reality is that her life was sometimes very difficult. Unfortunately, she focused mostly on the difficulty. She blamed society and her husband, and she felt trapped. She didn't know any other way. It wasn't her fault. She didn't know any other way. Nobody taught her how to be assertive, how to take control of her life and to make it how she wanted it to be. She didn't know there were other options. She could have looked at how successfully she'd become a pillar of the community. She could have remembered the people that she made smile with her kindness every day. She could have remembered the beautiful garden she'd created and the strong, lifelong friendships that she was so committed to. She could have looked at her daughter courageously running businesses, 3 amazing grandchildren, each following their own paths. She could have felt proud of her success. Every day there was evidence for her of how she was being successful, but she didn't see any of that. She saw the evidence that she was trapped, that society wouldn't let her be happy. So here's the reality. What we're doing, each of us, is sometimes really difficult. In Link4Growth, achieving our common aim may sometimes be very difficult. So here's your first question. Take a moment to ponder. When looking back on your day, every day, how do you want to feel? What evidence do you want to see? What will you remember? What will you say to yourself? My good friend Jem reminds me quite often when I look on my wall in the boat for a picture that he gave me, that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. It can be great fun. Honestly, on top of a boat can be great fun dancing in the rain. Yeah. There are many people here today and throughout the country who've already left behind that story of corporate employment. Take a moment to reflect. Are you rejoicing in your courage or fearing the next step? Could you be rejoicing more? There are many people here today and out in community who've already achieved and overcome huge obstacles personally, habits, limitations that have held them back for years and years. Take a moment to reflect. Are you rejoicing in your achievement and seeing yourself as the new person that you've become? Is your new self-image the one that you see yourself as, or are you still thinking of yourself as that old person that you used to be? Could you rejoice more? There are many people here who've started building what they want for their own future and for Link4Growth. Take a moment to reflect. Are you rejoicing in the steps that you've taken? Looking at the things that you've learned and feeling proud of those things? Or are you looking at the massive hill that we've still got yet to climb? Could there be an opportunity for more rejoicing there? These are big things that we're doing here in our lives. I used to work in government and I changed people for society's benefit, for the government's benefit, for the organisation's benefit. Until I realised that society will adapt to what we make it do. We are society, and each of us can change our whole world by changing our perspective. Society doesn't live, we individuals live. Every step we're taking is a huge step. We should be proud of it. It's a chance for cheering, a chance for collaboration, a chance for joy and for enjoying our success. The questions we need to ask much more does this step help me to move towards where I want to be, to feel alive today? Does it help me bring happiness for more than just a moment? And if it doesn't, is that momentary happiness enough? Can we cope with the risks that it might bring? Am I alive, thinking and acting rationally for the things that I believe in? I had a yes there, thank you, whoever that was. Whichever direction we're going in, to achieve success for each of us will take some persistent and continuous effort. We will need our beliefs to be in line with what we want to achieve. And many of us will need new skills and resources to get the results that we're looking for. When we have all of these in place, success is assured. Look at the horrible development of suicide bombers recently. Their belief in their cause, for whatever reason, is complete. They put in masses of persistent and continuous effort to build mountains to achieve the skills and resources that they need to achieve their goals. Many succeed in spite of huge opposition. Look at the beautiful development of sustainability, of green movements recently. Their belief in their direction likewise is complete. They put in masses of persistent and continuous effort, build the skills and resources that they need to get to where they want to go. Many succeed, yay, in spite of huge opposition. Look at the amazing lives that people lead with abilities, physical and mental, that society isn't generally suitable, helping to support at the moment. Artists creating with no limbs. People running business with severe neurological difficulties. Sports heroes overcoming amazing obstacles and challenges in new and creative ways. Their belief in themselves is amazing. They put in masses of persistent and continuous effort, build mountains, learn new skills to achieve what they want to achieve. Educationally, creatively, economically, and emotionally. Many succeed when they put in that effort. Look at what we've already achieved in Link4Growth. Some people in particular have already achieved masses because of belief, gradual learning and development, and masses of persistent and continuous effort. I saw on TV this morning, just before I came out, the space station. It's another example. They were talking today to kids in a school in St Albans. Belief, those kids had to enter a competition to get that opportunity to speak to Tim Peake on the space station. How fantastic. Belief, skills and resources, persistent and continuous effort. And of course in Link4Growth, this is all underpinned by, what did we just hear recently? Personal development, building relationships and people, those Link4Growth principles. We can move mountains. Good one for me, this. We will make mistakes. We have made mistakes. There will be days that are not easy, weeks even. Now my nan, remember, she would have focused on those problems and felt trapped. That's something she did most days. Take a moment to reflect now. In those moments of difficulty for you, what will you do? What will you focus on? How will you shape your future? In preparing this presentation, I was looking for a quote that said something like, life isn't about getting to the end, nice and on time in your box, neat and tidy. It's more about running in at the last minute, screaming and enjoying yourself and laughing and giggling. Sounds like fun to me. Walk in the sunshine. Jump in the ocean. Say the truth that you're carrying in your heart like a hidden treasure. You've all heard this statement before. Be silly, be kind, be weird. There is no time for anything else. You make choices like this every day, every moment of every day. What's your choice? What do you believe in? Do you believe in you? What will you put effort into changing and creating? What skills and resources will you gather to enable you to do it? Link4Growth is about people, relationships, taking responsibility for everything in our lives, mostly our thoughts, and being happy. If we focus on this, then for sure, other things we're working towards will be byproducts of our action, I was told. I'm going to end on a quote from my favourite philosopher. When you wake up in the morning, Pooh, said Piglet at last, what's the first thing that you say to yourself? What's for breakfast, said Pooh. What do you say, Piglet? I say, I wonder what's going to happen exciting today, said Piglet. Pooh nodded thoughtfully. It's the same thing, he said. Whatever you do, have fun creating it. Thank you.
We've had fun, we've had car, we've had the happiness challenge. How you doing? Good. We now have a 10-minute break.
I think it's kind of hard to put better. No, I think we've got the right food is enough, coffee and drinks is enough. Yeah. The custody costs. Please feel for such. So, please, if you're interested in doing these things, so there's other stuff over there that you're interested in. Yeah, the IMG's looking good. IMG's going to be good.
Chris.
Oh, me?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been interesting. So, hope the rest of it goes well.
Yeah,
I'll try and catch up with you at another meeting. I'm interested in Link4 business, so I'll start exploring that when I've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, no problem at all.
It's going well, so
Good.
hot.
That's from drinking loads of water. See ya, cheers.
The cameras, the live viewers will not be happy. Yeah, you will. While we're standing up, once they get down. These are good, aren't they? Let's get one back into the
Thank you.
Not just funny. It's not wrong, but it's so confidential. It's engaging.
Thank you.
So I'm very interested in this online groups. I'm not sure about the whole online thing.
It takes a bit of getting used to.
Yeah,
And
I
actually,
think it would, but
you just forget about it after a while once you get used to it.
I was going to say, I guess it's like the first time we did FaceTime.
Like anything else in life, anything for the first time.
It's been a really interesting day. So much to think
So what are you going to take from it?
I think for me, most in my mind is that the groups of meeting where I am, it's been very much like meetings to see the relationship so like, there's been a couple of times when she hasn't come and I've had to take charge and I've kind of said to her, oh, where were you? I had to do it myself, you know, but now like with the I mean, I do invite people, I do invite you and also just the whole thing, like my staff, is it cold and all this kind of stuff. So I think one, I think I've talked to him about my well-being at heart, obviously. How about you? I mean, you're a contributor, but you feel you've taken something away.
Absolutely. Always learn from every session. So, I love Tanya's energy and I love listening to Tanya. We've worked a lot together over the last 3 or 4 years and I love the energy that she brings to any room. It's at Horn End.
Because I am interested because we have a lot of boats just down the lane from the shop. There's loads of boats down there and a lot of them are boats.
It's not very far from where you are.
I love the way she's very thoughtful. It was that kind of energy, even my days go so quickly. I've been to conferences where you sit down and they give people like 50 minutes, then way too long. It's been really good at the time. Was that David? Was he doing the time? This is perfect.
David, what are you doing for your birthday tomorrow? Where are you going? What's your favourite? Is that what it's going to be? What could be better?
Yes, I always see on Facebook
So unsociable.
It says happy birthday. I'm not got very. What's it say? Happy birthday to who?
Link4Growth.
Oh, I suppose it's the birthday.
I like it very much.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Right, I'll have a look at it. Yeah. See, samurai. See the guy with
We're getting close to starting the final session.
Why don't they want to do it?
Can we all take our seats again, please, so we can get started? If anyone is in the room, can they please let me know? Nobody said anything, then that's all here. Right, let's start the final session of the day. If everyone like to take their seats. Everyone like to take their seats. Thank you very much. You'll see from your agenda that the last session is just myself and Chris. It's mainly Chris. The agenda note says recognition for Violet. The recognition, well, you recognise me obviously. The recognition is that various people are recognised for what they've done. It seemed to me that me recognising people was a bit of a nonsense because why would it be me recognising people? So Chris is going to do that section as well, and when he's finished doing his two little bits, I will close with a closing statement of a few minutes. Chris has just told me that our 6 things that we have, which is we meet, we talk, we listen, we learn, we lead, and we grow, now has to be 7 because we have to stick and inspire at the end of those 6 things. So it will now be 7 things on out of the piece of paper rather than 6. Chris is now going to do the recognition bit, and then he's going to talk about the future.
Okay, so welcome back. The thing about Link4Growth is that although it was an idea, and many people have said this, that they knew Link4Growth when it was just an idea, but it was nothing more than a fledgling, and now it's really gaining some momentum. But of course, that's really, as Tanya said, that's about massive action, but not by one person, but by a collection of people. And there's some people that I want to recognise and just give my heartfelt thanks for, because without them, really, this wouldn't have happened at all. We would be still back where we were with no hope and no chance to do anything about it. So I want to thank, and if they can just stand up, there's 3 people really: Deepa Kotak, Nikki Pepper, and Paul Riley. And these people have been beyond the call of duty at all times in the last 4 years. And although sometimes they stretch me and challenge me, we wouldn't have Link4Growth that we've got today without those people. So thank you very, very much for those. There are other people who have taken up some very significant roles in Link4Growth, and some of them aren't here today. Well, I'm just going to list them. And some of them are, so we can give those people a round of applause as well. There's Jane Walker, who unfortunately has been ill recently and can't be here today, but she's on the mend, which is fantastic. Deborah Oakerby, who is here, and she's over there. Wave your hand, Deborah. Emma James at the front here. Who could not like that wonderful energy? Sue Ball for stepping up as Link for Business. Fantastic. Tanya Clark for doing more than she realises. I haven't always said this, but her Thrive program that I went on changed many things about the way I thought, and actually last year that was really important. So thanks very much. Both Carol Dodsley and Jenny Braithwaite both been incredibly active with Link for Skills. Although Link for Skills is time is now, what they've done and what the time they've spent in the background, hundreds and hundreds of hours, which has not even been seen by anybody, but it's not a small contribution, I can assure you. So obviously Carol's in Bulgaria and Jenny's up in Cumbria, so probably couldn't get a boat down. Jerry, unfortunately, she's stepped out because Jerry Ridioff up in the north of the country. She does quite a lot of above the line marketing of Link4Growth. Unfortunately, she's not well. She was here earlier, but unfortunately had to go. I'd like to thank Nish Thenuara. Stand up, Nish, at the back. He's put in a lot of hours getting rid of people who've been trying to hack us. And I told him the other day that he has to be on his guard, because there will be more of that, I'm sure. But Nish has been very helpful, and he's put the TV platform together, which is going to look very, very good indeed. I'd like to thank Philip King as well, because Philip's done some remarkable work with the website just recently. Philip, wave. Must be a technical thing, you'll see at the back. Sarah McCarran for stepping up in Northamptonshire. Thank you very much for doing that. And is Diane Richardson here? Yeah. Oh, Diane! Who has almost single-handedly pioneered trying to get these TV shows. If you'd seen what they were like when I was running them, there would have been no one watching them. So great stuff, Diane. People who've helped get this conference together as well, because it's not an insurmountable thing to get a conference like this organised. So I'm going to run through these, but Sophie for spending all those hours with me for getting the laminates together, remarkable support for me. Linda Anderson, wave Linda, for baking that amazing cake, which you're not allowed out without a piece of, by the way, because I'm not eating all of that. What's inside it? That will happen at 3. Emma James for doing loads of stuff and getting here at silly o'clock this morning and helping me set up stuff, so thanks very much for that. Nikki Pepper for saying things like, if you want to want me to help you do something, then just let me know, and then being bombarded. And Deepa as well. Deepa's done the same thing, offered to help wherever possible. So Deepa, thank you very much. Now the people here at the Abbey aren't here, but hopefully we're going to get them to take part in one of the TV shows this afternoon. So they're going to get some recognition for the excellent service that they've provided today. Quite a bit warm in here, but that's what happens with 100 people in here. I'd like to thank Tim Watkins and Julia Kay. Could you just wave, Tim? And they very, very quickly formatted the Link for Business missing chapter. So if you've got a book, there's a chapter missing. Not on purpose, we hadn't invented it when we wrote the book, but it's now available. And actually, if you're in Link for Business, you're going to get an advance copy of that. And if you're, has everybody now picked it up?
Not quite everybody hasn't picked up, very nearly.
Okay, fantastic. So that will be available very, very shortly for everybody to enjoy. Diane Richardson, Catherine Baldwin, Neil Emery, Tanya Clark for the TV show performance. This has been a pioneering project and they've been amazing. They kind of turn out week after week and come on this show and they do a classic job. So thank you very much. And Angela Carstairs, unfortunately her young child became ill this morning, but she basically helped put these presentations together and she just volunteered. She's a local VA in Watford and she's made that so easy, I'll have to use her again. So, and also thanks to all the speakers today, Emma, Sue, Jem, Diane, Tanya, and Nadine, and of course Paul. So a round of applause for all the speakers. And I thank Mark Melford and Diane for taking video, pictures, and all that kind of stuff today. So thank you very much, you two. If I've forgotten anybody, except everyone here who's come today, so give yourself a round of applause. The
problem with these lists is you always leave somebody out. It's inevitable. It's embarrassing if you do. And Chris omitted to mention the person that provides the VDP in this group, the vision, the drive, and the passion without whom there would be no Link for Growth. So let's give a applause.
So I'm gonna finish off with a few bits and pieces today, which I think need to be said really. The projects that we've got going on in 2016, because Link for Growth never stops. We're working on things now for 2018, 2019. By the time we get there, we'll be grateful we started them now. And one of the sections of community that we haven't really catered for, there are a couple of people along here today who work with the youth sector. And actually Link for Growth doesn't have anything at the moment that's to do with you. So we've got Francis here, Francis, there, and we've got two other people here who've come along, like put your hands up, who are working with young people. So I'm hoping that in 2016 we can have a bit of stepping up, we can have a bit of contribution, and we can start to really make something happen for the younger people, because they've been sold a dream of study hard, go to school, get a university, get 50 grand worth of debt, and you'll get a great job. Well, that last bit isn't true. So we have to set the record straight. We have to support those, because they're the people that are going to look after us when we're old and grey. For some of us, that's not far away. So that's something that we're going to be doing this year. We're also looking to start our international progress, and I'm currently looking at starting something in Hungary. And the reason why we need people stepping up and becoming leaders is because we need more leaders. We need more people to carry the mantle. It's not a one-man show, this. It's an 8 million man show. And by the end of 2018, that's our target, to have 8 million people involved in this organisation. Why not? We've come quite a long way so far. Why not take it all the way? I want to give my heartfelt thanks to everybody who's come here today, because you know, you don't have to come, but I believe that the right people are in the room. People who should be here today are here. So the main goal for 2016 is that we are now flipping, as you've seen, from quite a small organisation to having some really good collateral, some stuff that's going to capture people's imagination. And we're going from 70% infrastructure build, which is what we've been doing for the last 4 years, and 30% network growth, to 70% network growth and 30% infrastructure build. So the infrastructure is in place. If we'd have tried to do this a year ago, we'd have overtraded and the whole thing would have fell down like a deck of cards. But we are in the right place at the right time to push forward now. So that's really what we're going to be doing. It's the year to step up. We're looking for 600% growth this year, but not without your help. And, you know, unfortunately, delightful as it is, this venue, next year we'll probably have 300 to 500 people at the conference, so we'll have to look for somewhere larger. And that, to do that, we need all your help. It's not just about me wishing it, it's about all of us making it happen. So what I see before me is 100 people, and we've got to make that 300 to 500 by next year. And as Paul said, we've got the, what we've done today is we've met, we've talked, we've listened, we've learned, we've connected, we've shared, and hopefully we've inspired. And we can do that at every meeting we have. We currently run somewhere in the region of 100 events a month, but there's so much more we can do. And what if we're surrounded every day by people like this? Amazing. It's just amazing to come into a room and be surrounded by friends. And that's kind of what's happened here. But we can do that in every town, in every event that we host. So let's go do it. Yeah, who wouldn't want to have you in their lives? That's what I say. You know, it's just amazing. And we're not doing what we're doing because it's easy. And we're not doing it because it's hard either. We're doing it because this job needs to be done. That's it. It just needs to be done. So we started with a small group back in January the 9th. I think there was about 12 of us. And it's almost 4 years to the day that we did that. And now in 4 years, we've got 100 people. We've had 6,500 come through Link4Growth in that time. But the 100 that should be here are. And yeah, it's not been easy. It's not been easy. A lot of people said at the start, if you've put 3 networking events on, it'd be easy, won't it? Don't you believe it? You know, when you start something that's a bit different, you collect a lot of arrows in your back. A lot of people that say this isn't going to happen, or you're off your head. That was probably one of the most common ones in the early days. But you have to be tenacious. As Daniel said, you have to be persistent and you have to believe. And now we're at the cusp of that expansion. So really looking forward to this. The next 3 to 5 years are likely to be rocky in society. But if we focus on what we're doing here, if we offer kindness, if we give, not take, and if we support and nurture, the people that fall on hard times in the next 3 to 5 years, we can help them get through that process. Because we're not out of the woods. And I don't want anything to be negative here, but we are definitely not out of the woods. And there's no one else that's going to do that, by the way. We're not going to have suddenly a support infrastructure come out of nowhere to support these people going through tough times. So as we grow, the diversity of Link4Growth is going to grow. And what happens when we do that is that Link4Growth will be more representative of community. So community and Link4Growth become synonymous. Link4Growth is community and community is Link4Growth. The two things aren't separate or different, they are the same. And building this platform that we're building enables every single person to win, because we're not focusing on money, we're focusing on people, relationships, taking responsibility and enabling people to be happy. And that's really, really important. In 2016, Link4Growth will become an association. I don't know whether you know what the structure of Link4Growth is, but it's owned by one director, which is me. But in 2016, it will be turned into an association. Why? Because that won't be registered with Companies House and under the control and guidance of Companies House. It won't be registered with the Charities Commission and ruled by what they have to say. It won't be aided by government because we're not expecting any grants, and it's not controlled by big business. Every single person that's a subscriber to Link4Growth will be a member of that association, and therefore you will own it. So that's what will happen in 2016. So it's going to be our Link4Growth. And when I said about selling you down the river, that isn't going to happen because you're going to own it. And yeah, the members will own it. And in 2016, we must prepare a constitution under which we operate. And that's something that we have to collectively do during the coming year. I stand here before you proud to be a subscriber of this organisation. I think it's been built using the right ethics and values and principles. And they are, I'm not there yet, but I'm heading towards those, the goals of upholding every single one of those. I'm proud to be an enthusiastic, dedicated supporter of creating our vision of the future, and that I commit to you too. This is not about fighting what's out there already. This is about creating something better that we build and make the other one obsolete. And we have a real chance to do that. So what was stopping us? We hadn't got community. We perhaps hadn't had the belief. We perhaps hadn't got the confidence we could do it. We hadn't got the infrastructure in place or the communications platform that enabled us to collaborate right across the country. We hadn't got the right ethics and the right values and the right leaders in place to enable that to happen. We hadn't got devolved responsibility potential. We had, in Link4Growth, we have structure, not hierarchy. There are no egos in Link4Growth. Everyone's the same. Everyone's important. Everyone's equal. And that's fundamental in what we do. And now we've got the freedom to take action. Now we have that. All that's required is that you respond to that call. If you remember that time tithing chart that I showed you earlier, this isn't like volunteering, because volunteering is a word that people are scared of. They think that if they volunteer, then they're going to get all sorts of stuff chucked at them. And people are, I think 40% of the population would probably volunteer if they could set limits on what they could volunteer for. But what happens is it's a slippery slope. You volunteer and then everybody keeps like dumping more and more onto you. With time tithing, it's about what you want to commit and what you want to contribute. But now there's a platform where you can contribute exactly what you want, when you want, and how you want. And that's really powerful. We, and I mean we, will all be responsible for creating the health service of the future, the education service of the future, and the charity solutions of the future. It is down to us, but we've got to start now, because the money will run out and these organisations will fail, and we will then either have to accept poor service or do something about it, and the time to do that's right now. There's 8 stations behind me, if you can see them. They've all got pieces of paper. I invite you to come up here afterwards and put your name down if you haven't already. There really will be something for everybody as we move through the coming years. But I'm proud, last and really finally, to be part of an organisation that puts people in relationships at the top of the list. puts people development and helping people take responsibility. You couldn't. We're not here. Proud to be part of an organisation that puts people development and helping people take responsibility for their lives at the top of the list. Creating a new set of leaders here to serve others and fit for the 21st century. The leaders of tomorrow, today, at the top of the list. Promotes not what can I do for myself, but what I can do for others at the top of the list. Underpins everything that we do with 7 non-negotiable principles and values of our organisation at the top of the list. I'm proud of the journey we have travelled together thus far. It's been amazing. And I'm proud of the vision that's been set out before us today. And I'm honoured to be amongst so many friends. I believe we're at the cusp of something really, really special here. A defining moment for the human race. I truly believe that. And probably the most exciting time to be a human being is right now. I hear a lot of people say they want a different future. We know that the only people who can create this is us. I believe the time to do this has now come. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to finish on time, which is really under. Thank you, everybody who's kept to their time, and those who foreshortened theirs to make sure we could finish at 3. I'm charged with just summarising today, just doing a closing statement. Obviously, I hadn't prepared anything, so I had no idea what was going to happen. I think it's fair to say that we've had a good day. We've had some individual inspirational speakers. They've all got their own style. They've all come with a message. They've all given us something to think about. They've made us laugh. They've made us think. They've inspired us. They've done all sorts of things. I think the choice of speaker, which had absolutely nothing whatever to do with me, has been brilliant. And I think we all like, once again, to thank them all from the bottom of our hearts for making the day really, really special. We've had fun and we've had colour. I think these graphics are brilliant. I hope everybody agrees. A lot of hard work's gone into those graphics, and I think they will help when we're going to meetings, etc., to explain exactly what Link4Growth is all about. If anyone didn't know what Link4Growth was about before they came, I'm sure they do now, and I'm sure they want to go out and tell everybody else about it, so that next year Chris's dream becomes reality and we do have a much, much bigger hall and many, many more people. There's a couple of specific things I want to mention. One thing you will have noticed that we don't talk about at Link4Growth, and that's money. Unlike a lot of organisations, we're not here to take money from you. Having said that, we need some. If anyone here has been inspired to become involved with Link4Growth and have not yet become a subscriber, please become a subscriber. We all know what it costs. It's £3 a month. We make it that amount of money so that everybody could afford it, because we don't want to put anybody off. In fact, £36 gives you 13 months membership, which works out to £2.77 a month. So please, if you do support what we're standing for and what we're trying to achieve, do please become a subscriber. There is a change to the subscription method at the moment, so if you're interested in subscribing, please contact Deepa. And you contact Deepa on an email address on our website. Nikki. Deepa. And you can contact Deepa on accounts@link4growth.biz. Okay, accounts@link4growth.biz. So please inundate her with emails when you get back home. Somebody, 2 or 3 people actually have said, is everybody okay with us issuing a list of delegates to all the delegates and their email addresses? We're quite happy to do that, but if anybody doesn't want their email address sent to others, please let Chris or I know and we'll take you off the list. But if everyone's in agreement, we will circulate this list to everybody that's attended today so we can make contact with each other. After we finished at 3 o'clock, there are two more things going on. There's a post-conference networking TV show. Well, there's two actually. One's for Southwest, Hertfordshire, I think. There's another one for the speakers and the leaders to take part. So if the speakers can stay behind, that would be great, and take part in that. I don't think there's anything else. So you know that you're supposed to sign on the dotted line if you possibly can. I can only wish you all a very pleasant journey home to whatever part you're going to play in Link4Growth in the coming year, and we hope that means everybody will play some sort of part. I don't think it's possible for Chris to say as big a thank you as he obviously wants to say to all of us who have helped him to develop the vision that he had just over 4 years ago. It was a vision. He is a visionary, and he did say something I thought was quite funny just now. He said, in the early days, people thought I was crazy. In the early days? So thank you all for coming. I wish you a safe journey home. It's very much appreciated. And don't forget. Thank you. Hi, do you want to the TV shows? The TV things. Yeah. The TV shows the TV shows in the bar. In the bar for the TV shows. Emma. I need to get a photo company taken and
Sorry. Oh, sorry. You're not? Oh, that's it. We've got Ian Hudson, so spoken online.
Don't think you told me to, because the big hot
Which one? People see this picture. Yes.
I've been working for the last 9 years.
Contact me to sign up for my newsletter. It's free. It's about all health problems that come with age, which has got nothing to do with age. It's to do with diet and stress. Exactly. I worked for 9 years with long-term health issues to educate their confidence and understand the value of the world by helping them to position within a kitchen. Very much so. I mean, I still bump into my clients in the street, and they always come and talk to me. They always give me a great big hug, and I always give them something new. Yeah. No, go on. It's because they don't. I drove it the other day because I heard about it and I thought, I've actually got a in my phone. Because I thought, and how can we do that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I put it next to myself in the hotel. Yeah,
Now, in essence, golf like my interest is well, it actually drops.
No, oh, right, I say that. And also, I kind of reckon I'm not actually sure of all the things that you do already. I know you're kind of involved in all kinds of things. I'm not sure what they are. And
a really interesting meeting yesterday actually with guys from local design We Coexist, and they design for ethical business and micro business. And they want to do some work with me and the young Greens. They just want to come up with some new processes.
what do you do with the Green Party?
I just facilitate it.
Give them a venue and a place to meet.
Steering, or with the young Greens are much more active than the old Greens. So what I try to do with them is sit and if they're talking about stuff and I see it on the way from the Green Party policy, I'll remind them what the policy is and I'll highlight issues that I've seen and see they're interested in. I just try to give them steering, and then take part in actual events we can.
So are you active in the Green Party directly?
I'm a Green Party member, yeah. I'm the Green Party what they call me now. I got voted in a suburb. Secretary or something. I can't remember what it was. Doing the job change. Not even sure they haven't told me what they want me to do. The main Green Party the young ones, so I concentrate more on the young They actually want to make this yeah, no,
I'm not particularly a political animal. I don't really kind of.
Which I did send to the program minister.
Oh, right, so you're ready to speak. When she was at home,
Electronically as well, so you can take a picture on that about using that images for those that material to do that as well.
Oh yeah, I know that. That's all I'm using. There's other events, there's the first conference. I better turn this off now because it's still live.